While the world is buried in dreams, queens are already lacing up for battle. While the rest of the world rolls over and hits snooze, you swing your legs off the bed and lock in on your purpose. You don't need a crowd cheering at 4 a.m. That hour doesn't ask for fans, it asks for founders. The 4 a.m. mindset isn't about an early alarm. It's about an early awakening to the life you were always meant to lead. Let me ask you this, ladies. When was the last time you ran straight into something hard? Not because life forced your hand, but because average simply was never your language. That is the 4 a.m. mindset. It's not just a clock striking 4. It's a declaration. A declaration that mediocrity no longer has a seat at your table, that you are done waiting for motivation. You are done waiting for permission. You are about to become the avalanche instead of the snowflake waiting for it to fall. At 4 a.m., the opinions vanish, the notifications sleep, the likes come later. It's only you, the dark, and the dream most people are too scared to chase. You want a life that makes people whisper, "How did she do it?" Then start by doing what they refuse to. Discipline over desire is not a caption. It is the blood-signed contract you write with yourself when the cameras are off and the world isn't listening. It's the moment your body begs you to stop and your purpose whispers, "Just one more rep." Because let's be honest, desire is the cheapest currency on earth. Everyone wants the perfect body. Everyone wants the 7-figure business. Everyone wants the applause. But not everyone is willing to mortgage their comfort for the sake of greatness. That is the line where the dreamers end and the doers begin. Picture it. The alarm screams at 4 a.m. Your sheets are warm, gravity is winning, and your body is begging for mercy. That's desire. But then discipline walks in, not in your mind, but in your spine, and says, if you drift back to sleep now, you are betraying every promise you made at 1 a.m. when nobody was watching. You throw the blanket off, not because you feel like a champion, but because your commitment outweighs your cravings. Discipline is hitting the gym when your legs feel like concrete. Discipline is choosing clean food when your tongue is begging for garbage. Discipline is canceling the Friday night plans because you already said yes to a bigger dream. Do you think success tastes like dessert? It doesn't. It tastes like sweat. It tastes like sacrifice. It tastes like silence. Desire tells you, just one more episode. Discipline says, close the screen and finish the chapter. Desire says, scroll a little more. Discipline says, build a little more. Desire wants today. Discipline wants tomorrow. Bigger, better, unbreakable. Let me paint you a real scene. A student is preparing for the exam that will define her life. Everyone around her is out celebrating, toasting the weekend away. Desire whispers, you've been grinding all week. Take a night off. But discipline, that quiet soldier, replies, this is the edge nobody else is willing to stand on. This is where ordinary ends and unstoppable begins. So while the rest sleep, she studies, not because it feels good, but because she's not in the business of temporary pleasure. She's in the business of permanent power. A mother who wakes at 4 a.m. to cook, clean, pack lunches, hold down a full-time job, and still show up emotionally for her family every single night. That is not routine. That is ritual. That is discipline in its highest, holiest form. She isn't driven by whims. She's driven by duty, love, and design. Now think of the athlete grinding for years for a 10-second performance on the world's biggest stage. Do you think she craves the pain? Never. But she knows desire will never podium her. Only discipline will. And if we're talking about love itself, discipline is staying when leaving would feel easier. It's listening when you're exhausted. It's forgiving when every bone in your body wants to fight. A disciplined heart doesn't love louder. It loves deeper, longer, truer. Then there's the dreamers who never launch. The writers who never write a line, the singers who never open their mouth to sing, the entrepreneurs who never register the business, all of them waiting to feel ready. That's desire's cruelest lie, that you have to feel good in order to do good. You don't. You just have to begin. You just have to show up. Discipline is the unfiltered, unglamorous version of you that doesn't check on your feelings before it ships the work. You won't always feel inspired. You won't always feel like it. But discipline keeps your feet moving long after motivation has quietly slipped out the back door. Discipline is brushing your teeth when you're half asleep. Discipline is replying to the email you'd rather ignore. Discipline is saving the money when every flash sale is begging you to spend it. Discipline is funding the future, not fueling the excuses. Here's the brutal truth. Discipline hurts today and liberates tomorrow. It demands sacrifice, demands silence. It demands self-respect, and it will never be glamorous. It won't earn you applause today. But one day, when your results roar louder than every excuse you've ever buried, you'll look back and realize, desire gave you moments. Discipline gave you a masterpiece. Silence isn't weakness. Silence isn't absence. Silence isn't retreat. Silence is power, dressed in its most dangerous, most divine form. It is the language of the unshakable, the frequency of the woman who never has to scream to prove she belongs in the room. When you are truly powerful, you don't announce yourself. You arrive, and the room rearranges itself around you. When a woman chooses silence, she's not surrendering, she's strategizing, she's studying, she's sharpening. People confuse silence with passivity, and that's their first mistake. Silence is the forge where inner steel is hammered out. While the world reacts, she reflects. While the world explodes, she evolves. Imagine the argument. Voices everywhere, accusations flying, proofs being thrown. And there you are, still, unmoved, watching. Not because you have nothing to say, but because you know not every fight is worth your fire. That's not fear, that's mastery. That's the kind of stillness that unsettles people because they can't decode it. Your silence becomes armor. Your silence becomes a message louder than any comeback. Think of the woman who gets her heart shattered. Everyone is waiting for the long caption, the cryptic post, the dramatic reply, the public revenge. Instead, she vanishes. No noise, no performance. Just silence. And inside that silence, she rebuilds herself, piece, piece. While he's still checking his phone for a text that will never come, she's rebuilding her body, her brand, her brain. That's not heartbreak. That's a second birth. That's a storm loading its ammunition. Look at the figures the world actually remembers. The ones with real power never had to speak for respect. Their presence delivered the keynote. And when they finally opened their mouths, the world held its breath. That's the thing about silence. It has gravity. It pulls the room toward you. It builds curiosity. It builds mystique. It builds respect. In your daily life, silence is the lock on your peace. You don't owe a reaction to every insult. You don't owe an explanation to anyone committed to misunderstanding you. The second you answer back, you hand them your power. The second you stay silent, you hand them their own noise. And that's far more terrifying. Picture the employee in a toxic office, underestimated, overlooked, dismissed at every turn. She doesn't clap back. She doesn't gossip. She doesn't wrestle for scraps of attention. She simply keeps working quietly, relentlessly, professionally. And then one morning she's offered the promotion. She's offered the better job. She walks out with her head high while they're still muttering behind her back. That kind of silence echoes long after the door closes behind you. In love, silence is heavier than 1,000 apologies. When someone demands your attention through chaos and you simply withdraw, they feel your absence deeper than they ever felt your presence. Silence teaches people what noise never could, that you're done donating your peace to their panic. Silence is also the cathedral where ideas are conceived, where your intuition finally gets a word in, where the healing you've been avoiding finally begins. That's why the truly successful guard their mornings. That's why they protect their alone time. That's why they unplug from the noise. Because clarity doesn't live in the comment section. It lives in the stillness. If you can't sit with yourself in silence, you'll never hear the answer your life has been quietly asking for. In a world hooked on noise, silence is rebellion. When everyone else is broadcasting their every breath, you grow in private. When they speak to impress, you speak to understand. When they chase the spotlight, you chase elevation. That's not silence. That's strategy with a heartbeat. So the next time they try to bait you, distract you, pull you into their tornado, remember this. Silence isn't the absence of voice, the presence of self-control. That's where real queens live. Not because they can't speak, but because they know exactly when their voice is worth the air it takes. Energy writes authority, not your job title, not your diploma, not your family name. The moment you walk into a room, people don't read your resume. They read your frequency. They read your posture. They read the fire in your eyes. They read the conviction in your footsteps. You don't need anyone's permission to lead. You just need the energy of a woman who knows exactly who she is. That's why some women walk in and the room temperature changes. They don't raise their voice. They don't explain themselves. Their energy already says, I know why I'm here. It's magnetic. It's undeniable. It's authority carved out of long nights, quiet tears, and stubborn self-belief. Picture the high school girl who never fit the popular crowd. She isn't wearing the trendiest brands. She isn't gossiping or chasing likes, but she walks with a quiet flame. She looks people straight in the eye. She speaks with intent, and suddenly people notice her, not because she's loud, because she's clear. That's energy. That's power that never has to raise its hand to be called on. In every office, there's that one person who isn't the boss on paper. They don't hold the title. But when they speak, the room listens. When crisis hits, everyone turns their eyes toward them. Why? Because their energy is grounded, calm, commanding. Trust radiates off them. They don't gossip. They don't panic. They don't perform. That's authority that comes from presence, not position. Energy is your signature. It's the vibration you send out with every word, every choice, every glance. You can fake a smile. You can fake a compliment. You can even fake success for a season. But you cannot fake energy. People feel it before you ever explain it. They feel your insecurity, you name it. They feel your confidence before you prove it. They feel your intentions before you speak them out loud. Think about the last time you walked into a room and were inexplicably drawn to someone. You couldn't explain it. They weren't the loudest. They weren't the most polished, but their energy was unmistakably clear. They were sure of themselves. That's how true power works. It's quiet, but it's contagious. And it has nothing to do with your look, your bank account, or your follower count. It has everything to do with how aligned you are with your purpose. Somewhere right now, there's a woman building her dream from the ground up. She's exhausted. She's invisible. But every morning, she still wakes up with the fire. She speaks life over her vision. She walks as if it's already done. And one day the world will say she appeared out of nowhere. She didn't appear, she aligned. Her energy introduced her long before success ever did. In your everyday interactions, your energy can flip the outcome. Smile from confidence, not desperation. Speak with clarity, not apology. Move with intention, not anxiety. People mirror what you model. If you walk like a question, they'll treat you like one. If you walk like an answer, they'll adjust theirs. Think of mothers, quiet generals of the home who command love and discipline, not by shouting, but by repetition. Their energy teaches their children more than any lecture ever could. Because energy isn't about volume. It's about truth. In relationships, your energy sets the temperature. If you radiate self-respect, people will sense they cannot play games with you. If you radiate desperation, they'll smell it and take advantage. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. So if you want royalty, live like royalty. If you want loyalty, embody loyalty. Energy creates authority because it is your invisible crown. You never beg for attention when your energy commands it. You never scream for respect when your energy carries dignity. You never over-explain your worth when your energy is rooted in truth. Authority isn't about control. It's about alignment. When you are aligned, opportunities stop being chased. They start being chased by you. You don't compete. You quiet dominate. You don't request approval. You become the standard. Sacrifice is sexy, not because it looks pretty on a highlight reel, but because it sculpts legends. In a world hooked on comfort and cheat codes, choosing the harder road, the delayed reward, the silent grind that is undeniably powerful. And power is rare, and rare is always irresistible. Real queens don't flex just their beauty. They flex their discipline. They flex their ability to walk away from the easy thing to honor the right thing. You know what's sexy? A woman who wakes at 4 a.m. to chase a vision nobody is clapping for yet. A woman who skips the party, the scroll, the cheap validation because she's too busy morphing into the version of herself she keeps seeing in her prayers. That's sacrifice. And that's a glow no highlighter, no filter. No filter can ever fake. That's the glow that comes from a fire living inside your bones. Think about the woman who picks the gym over gossip, who says no to the love that feels warm but leads nowhere, who chooses clean meals when everyone around her is diving into junk, not because she wants to be better than them, but because she's committed to being better than the version of herself she woke up as yesterday. That's not boring. That's backbone. That's beautiful with teeth. It's easy to post the motivational quote. It's easy to talk about your dreams. But can you cancel the date night to finish your side hustle? Can you say no to your cravings when the cameras aren't watching? Can you walk away from someone who makes you feel good for a week, but slowly erases your future? That's the kind of sacrifice that shapes destinies. And yes, it's sexy as hell. Look at any woman who actually built something. Not the ones who inherited it, but the ones who earned it brick by brick. Behind her, you'll find a graveyard of sacrifices, sleep, comfort, fake friends, the distractions that used to run her calendar. She didn't arrive because of luck. She arrived because she let go of everything that wasn't in alignment with where she was headed. That's the difference between the girl who dreams and the woman who executes. You want to stand out? Then stop being the girl who says yes to everything. Be the woman who says, not right now. Be the woman who turns down the shortcut. Be the one who chooses the slower road because she knows the slower road leads somewhere the fast road never could. Think about the student who sacrifices sleep to master her craft. The single mother who skips vacations to invest in her child's future. The founder who reinvests every dollar instead of flashing it on the timeline. That's not struggle. That's strategy. And when the results finally land, the world will call it overnight success, not realizing how many nights were sacrificed in silence. Sacrifice is not suffering. It's investing. It's the blueprint for legacy, not just lifestyle. And what's sexy about it is the fact that not everyone can stomach it. It takes nerve, it takes grit, it takes vision, and it takes an inner royalty to look at comfort and say, I choose the longer road to greatness. That's the energy of a woman who doesn't need attention. She commands it without ever opening her mouth. Delayed gratification is the art of holding the line while the whole world screams, take it, settle, give in. But here's the secret nobody advertises. The longer you hold out for what's truly worth it, the more magnetic your quiet confidence becomes. It's not just discipline. It's the slow crafting of a version of yourself that becomes undeniable. When you delay gratification, you don't just build success. You build a respect that walks into rooms ahead of you and shifts the furniture without announcing itself. Imagine a woman stepping into a space with calm certainty. She's not in a hurry to prove anything. She doesn't need to brag. Why? Because she knows what she's building. She's already tasted the power of choosing long-term dominance over short-term dopamine. And that quiet, steady confidence, it's irresistible because it tells every eye in the room, I'm not built for today. I'm built for always. Look at the student who studies on Saturdays while the rest of the world is proving fake wins online. She isn't posting the highlight reel. She's quietly constructing the actual thing. And when her results finally show up, they don't whisper, they roar. That roar isn't arrogance. It's the natural byproduct of sacrifice, patience, and choosing future power over present noise. Or the woman in love who never begs, chases, or shrinks her standards just to keep someone by her side. She knows what she carries to the table. She knows her worth. And she's willing to wait, not out of fear, but out of discernment. She's not looking for audience. She's looking for alignment. That kind of confidence is quiet, but it makes every head turn. Even in health, the rule holds. The woman who skips dessert, who rises early to move her body, who drinks water while the rest of the world drinks excuses. She may not see the visible results overnight, but she feels something deeper building, a silent promise she's making to herself. Every time she delays comfort, she stacks another layer of power, and soon that power starts to radiate. You see it in her posture, in her skin, in the way she walks. She doesn't just look good, she feels untouchable. In business, it's the founder who doesn't cash out her first paycheck for luxury, but pours every dollar back into the dream. Everyone else is popping bottles. She's pouring foundations. Everyone else is chasing clout. She's chasing legacy. And when her company finally takes off, people will call it luck. They always do. But it wasn't luck. It was the patience of someone who trusted her own pace, even when the applause was absent. Confidence that comes from instant gratification is hollow. It's loud today and insecure tomorrow. But the confidence that's forged from discipline, from saying no to today for the sake of a bigger tomorrow, that kind of confidence can't be faked. It's the kind that walks into any room and never has to compete because she already won in private 1,000 times before anyone noticed. There's a fire that only arrives through waiting, waiting with purpose, waiting with work, waiting with preparation. Every distraction you say no to, every pleasure you delay for the long game, every one of those becomes a brick in the fortress of your unshakable self-worth. Because when you can deny what feels good in the moment for what is great in the long run, you don't just gain results, you gain respect. And that is more magnetic than anything money or beauty can ever buy. Here it is, the heart of it. The 4 a.m. mindset isn't just about an early alarm. It's about waking up to your own power. It's the hour when the world is unconscious, but your purpose is wide awake. It's the hour when the noise is gone, the opinions are gone, the scroll is gone, and all that's left is you, the dark, and the dream you refuse to abandon. The 4 a.m. mindset is not a time. It's a temperament. It's the decision to stop waiting for miracles and start becoming one yourself. Because here's the truth. Nobody wants to say out loud. While the rest of the world is chasing pleasure, chasing likes, chasing shortcuts, you are laying foundations so deep that when your moment comes, nothing, not a critic, not a failure, not a betrayal, can shake you. The world will see your results and call it magic. But they didn't see the 4 a.m.s. They didn't see the rejections. They didn't see the sacrifices. They didn't see the tears you wiped alone in the dark while swearing to yourself, I am not quitting now. Not after everything I've already built. The woman who lives by the 4 a.m. mindset doesn't beg for attention. She commands it. She doesn't wait to be chosen. She chooses herself again and again and again because the universe doesn't answer wishful thinking. It answers energy, intention, repetition, and grit. And when you keep showing up for your dream, especially when it's inconvenient, uncomfortable, even unbearable, life eventually leans over and whispers, "She's ready." You want to feel powerful? Stop pinning quotes. Start living them. Show the world what it actually looks like to be unstoppable in a culture obsessed with shortcuts. Be the woman who turns her pain into power, her setbacks into setups, her loneliness into legacy. Be the woman who walks away from average, not because she thinks she's better, but because she knows she was built for more. You don't have to be perfect. You don't need the applause. What you need is to decide right now, not tomorrow, not next week, not when things feel easier. Now, because the version of you that you are becoming, she's watching. She's watching every time you choose growth over comfort, every time you choose silence over drama, every time you choose discipline over excuses. She's watching you prove that she is real. The 4 a.m. mindset is not for the weak. It's for the woman who understands that diamonds are formed in the dark, that legends aren't born, they're built. And you are in the middle of building something legendary. You are not chasing success. You are becoming it. You are not looking for validation. You are living your truth. And that truth is louder than any noise this world can throw at you. So rise, queen. Rise like your crown depends on it, because it does. Walk like every step is a statement. Speak like your voice is a revolution, because it is. Every woman who chooses herself becomes a ripple in the ocean of change. And that ripple, that's you. That's your fire. That's your name, Priyanka. Written in bold letters in a history that's still being written. And when they ask you what your secret was, you won't need a single word. Your glow will speak. Your peace will speak. Your results will scream. And all you'll have to say is this: I didn't quit. I didn't settle. I didn't sleep on myself, because you knew the 4 a.m. version of you, Priyanka, was never ordinary. She's a weapon. She's a woman reborn, and she's just getting started.